Yep.
Did the Gord Borough Council office be shut?
Yeah, it's the day before Christmas. Yeah. No,
Right, no, that's all right.
no, definitely today.
No, I was just up at the cemetery and my dad's plaque with the RSA thing, it's come away.
Right.
I thought if I don't get them to go and fix it today, it might not be there tomorrow.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I've got to see them too. Mum had brought her plot, and she interned her boyfriend's ashes there. And somebody else brought the next plot, and they put the concrete over about that much onto Mum's side. So I think it needs to be cut off or
And I
something.
thought, now, do I take the plaque
Yeah.
and get my husband tomorrow to put super glue,
Some,
or do I leave it and tomorrow it might not be there, but that's all right. And then my nephew put flares there, they're only plastic.
yeah.
And he sent me a photo and he said, Auntie Joan, when are you going to clean the headstones? So I was up there today. Well, we were going to do it,
Yeah.
but we just didn't. The family beat me up there once again.
Okay.
And I thought, shivers.
Well, somebody pushed it over or something, knocked it over.
Well, we've got a headstone and
Yep.
then we've got Dad's plaque, you know, like his number and all that
Yep,
carry on
yep,
from
yep.
the RSA. Because Mum died first. We got Dad on the headstone, but we just thought his plaque would be nice, you know, sit there, like his number and
Yeah,
all the gear that went with the war.
yeah.
And they're taking the flares. I don't know why they take plastic flares.
Okay.
And I never knocked it. It shouldn't be. And I
Shouldn't.
picked it up and I thought, far out, Joe.
Yes.
Why don't I go down to the Borough Council office and see if somebody can just. I'll tell my husband tomorrow when we go out for Christmas lunch, bring the super glue.
Yeah, some sort of glue, probably, industrial sort of glue.
I'm going to ring my nephew and say, you know those flares, but they're
Yeah.
not there.
What cemetery is
Well,
that?
just the one on the hill.
Up on the hill. Yeah, that's where Mum's is.
Yeah.
Up there.
We've got plots all over the show. I said, I'm not going to do the whole lot. I'd be a full-time job. I
Yeah,
thought I'd better just clean up Mum and Dad's, my great aunties and my grandmother's,
yeah. It's
all in one. But I thought, far out. Then I thought, surely they don't take Dad's plaque.
How about the other ones around it? Were they all okay?
Well, they got, no, there was none. They're all older, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
They're all older. And
Right.
I'm walking back to the car with my water and my brush and my empty bucket and I'm thinking, those flares there look like the flares that were on the photo. Then I thought,
right.
Joan, let it go.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if this camera's up there, they're thinking, what the hell is she up to?
Oh, no. You have a good day. Good Christmas.
I might ring them and just see.
Yep.
I don't like touching stuff that, you know, because they look after the it's supposed to look after the
Yeah. Okay. You have a good Christmas.
Hey, same to you.
Thank
You
you.
sort out your thing.
Yep. Next year.
a different way of stating that and meaning that, because you can't help but be in the state of practice. But just use the word, I'm here to savor my connection.
Savor.
I'm here to
Oh, feeling.
take pleasure from my deliberate calibration to who I really am. Because sure, it's practice, but why? What's the point of practice? So many people practice to get better, but this is the distinction that we're making with you. They practice to get better because they're hoping for a better game later. So they'll practice so that they can play better later, and we say, there is no later, there's only now. So what are you practicing for? There's only now, so what are you practicing? So rather than practicing for a brighter future, let's savor for the deliciousness of now, which is all there is.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah,
Feeling.
she got it.
So, after being here last year, and after 10 plus years without talking with my children and my wife, it was easy, very easy, to reconnect with my daughters. Wonderful. She was easy to talk. Now I can play with my grandkids. I know my son-in-law. Wonderful.
Doesn't have to take 10 years.
Exactly. You have to want to.
Yeah,
That's what he told me.
yeah.
My wife, my ex-wife, the same thing. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Why is it
Who changed, them or you?
I changed? That man. Who is it? Why is it that my son doesn't want to talk to me? Or is it I that don't want to talk to him?
Well, it's a little bit of both, but what it mostly is your awareness that he's not talking yet.
I don't feel ready to talk?
We wouldn't even say that you don't feel ready to talk. We would say that you're aware that you're not talking. This is subtle stuff. If you were talking, then you'd talk more. But since you're not talking, then you're not talking more. It's the byproduct of offering your vibration in response to what you're doing. And so just by remembering that there was a time when you weren't talking to the others either, and now you are, so let that be the dominant vibration within you. And don't try to make it about what he's doing, and don't be hard on yourself either. Just soften it by saying some things need more time, and all is well here, and things are working out, is in the process of becoming. And you might even say, if you wanted to be real accurate, he's the one who's the most like me.
Yesterday, my ex-wife, his mother saying, Thanksgiving coming. Don't you want to try again, writing a note and inviting for a coffee to chat? And I said, you saw the last few times.
Well, remember what we were saying earlier. Your relationship is more about your vibration than it is about what
Yes.
you're doing. And so don't let other people try to prod you into behavior. Do what you feel like doing. This is the key to getting everything that you want. Don't let what is be the dominant vibration. People get stuck in that. You are so enamored with what is. And what is different than what's coming. So if you're focusing on what is, then what's coming can't get there. What you focus on always dominates. So if you focus on where you're going rather than where you are, then it unfolds to that, you see. But on subjects like this that you've thought so much about, it's better to just stay off the subject and just focus on the other things that are working out the way you want them to. The other things from which you are taking pleasure. So we have some questions for you. These are big questions, and you know the answer to every one of them, so it will be easy. Do you take pleasure from the thoughts you think about this son?
Most of the time.
Right? That was an honest answer. Well, it was an attempt at being honest, because the true answer is sometimes,
Sometimes.
not most of the time.
Oh, most of the time.
No.
No?
Not most of the time. You want it to be most of the time, but you're deceiving yourself. You're deceiving yourself by saying, I'm taking pleasure. What's happened is you've become accustomed to uncomfortable thoughts. And so you are calling uncomfortable thoughts not so much uncomfortable, more comfortable, but they are not comfortable thoughts. We didn't say, can you endure? We ask a very specific question. Are you taking pleasure? Pleasure is a big word. Pleasure is a word that's calibrated to your source energy. When we say, are you taking pleasure from your thoughts about your son? That's equivalent to saying, are you thinking about your son in the same way your inner being thinks about your son?
Most of the time, yes.
No. Because if that were true, the progress would have already been made because this has been going on for a while. So there's something that you think you're doing that you're really not doing, and it's really worth having this conversation about. Tell us some of the thoughts that you're thinking about your son. Yeah.
I think, well, when I see pictures of him or videos of him playing with her first daughter, I like it. I love it. He's having his life. I cannot assert my willingness, my will to talk to him.
We know all of this, and we know that you know all of this, but this conversation that you're giving to us, accurate as it is not a conversation that is evoking pleasure. You're facing reality right now. I can't make it different. We're asking you if you take pleasure from your thoughts about your son. And the answer is not very often.
No.
And so now we have another really big question for you. Do you believe that you've already done step one and asked for a reconciliation?
That's a good question.
Well, we're really going back deep, and it's easy for you to find the answer to this. And what we mean by that is, when you know what you don't want, do you know what you do want? And don't you think you've had enough years of knowing what you don't want that you've asked for what you do want? So don't you think the answer to I have asked is unequivocally yes? I have asked. I do know what I want. I do know. Don't you know? Don't you feel like you've asked?
Yes.
And if you were to put it into words, what would that asking be? Be as general as you can. I want a delicious relationship with this person. And so you've asked. And from what you know about the law of attraction and what we talk about here, do you believe that it's been answered, that there's a vibrational reality where that's already taken place? Do you believe that there's a vibrational reality where you and your son are both cooperative components to this relationship that is eternal between the two of you? Do you believe that?
Yes.
So step one and step two have happened, haven't they? So then step three is just about you being in the receiving mode, and this is the thing that we want you to hear, all of you. Step three doesn't say, you have to be in the receiving mode about this subject. It just says you have to be in the receiving mode. Did you get that? Because you already asked about this subject, and you've already been answered about this subject. Now, get off the subject that's keeping you from the receiving mode, and you'll be in the receiving mode, and then you'll get what you want. That's the answer to everything that you want. But as humans, you sometimes think that you have to suffer harder. All those old records are playing, and those records are some of the records that your wife is playing to you. Don't you think you could try a little harder, and don't you think you could reach out a little more, and maybe if you wrote a letter and said this and this and this? That's not what's going on. This is not an action problem. This is a vibrational problem. And all a vibrational problem ever is a habit of thought that keeps going even though it's not in harmony with what you now want. And so when you stay off the subject, you'll let that habit subside. The habit will subside if you'll stay off the subject, because you've got so much powerful momentum about family things coming together going. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That's powerful. So when we say, have you gotten together with your son? We want you to say, who? Who? Now the world would say, oh, Abraham, are you really teaching him detachment? Just verbal detachment, just action detachment. You can never detach from the vortex version that you've got going on. So just stop beating the drum of what isn't happening and savor the wonderful things that are happening. And then wonderful things that could happen that aren't happening will happen.
I understand that, and I've been telling
You are like a dog on a bone. You're going to approach this from your vantage point, and you can't undo what we just did, but you're going to hold yourself from receiving it longer. Because you feel like you want to defend yourself a little bit.
A little bit. But no, see. Here's a picture of your son with your granddaughter. How can I not look? I don't want to look at who. So at this point,
Go ahead, try it your way, and in 10 years we'll have the same conversation again. How's that working out?
No, in general,
We asked you a very powerful question. Do you take pleasure from your thoughts about your son?
think that's very
So, if you're not taking pleasure from your thought about something, what's the bottom line that Abraham always teaches? Stop focusing on it. If you can find a way to find pleasure in it, then go for it. But if you find more pleasure by staying off the subject. Now, in order for this to make sense, and in order for you to not go on the rampage against what we're teaching here, you have to understand this all-important premise. You've already asked, and it's already been answered, so you are not forsaking your son. You've done the most important things. You've asked, and it has been answered, and now you're doing the only thing you can do. You've decided to no longer block it. How can I be blocking it? By yearning when you look at the picture, by feeling the offness of it when you look at the picture, by acknowledging, worked with that one, worked with that one, worked with that one, worked with that one, doesn't work with that one. Okay. You got it. Have fun with it. Take pleasure from it.
More questions?
So did you get that? Take pleasure from the things that it's easy to take pleasure from, and don't try to work the things that you can't take pleasure from them into the act. That's the Castle Button story. If you think it's easy, then you've got no resistance. A desire that you believe is a done deal. A desire that you doubt is way slower.
So, recently I had a very interesting thing happen to me or with me. I had a meeting, business meeting, and I knew there was going to be roughness, confrontation. But I was preparing myself, not with action, not preparing the best slides or the best information. I was just...
So wait, you've decided that you're going to take pleasure from this segment in life, but you've orchestrated a meeting that you know is going to be unpleasant, and you walk willingly into it.
Okay. I'm fine. Let's stay with it.
It's the same subject,
Thank
isn't
you.
it? It's exactly the same subject. That's why we were eager to let you move into the next thing, because it's the same exact thing, isn't it? I know this isn't going to feel good, but I'm going to go there anyway, because in future life experiences, people have taught me that if I struggle and try hard, that I'll get results. It's never been true. It's not true now, but it is a habit that most humans have. You're not different in that. You're doing extremely well. Things are really lining up for you all over the place. But you are stubborn.
The great enemy of writing isn't your own lack of talent, it's being interrupted.
Well, I've come quite a way to get here. I've been coming to Alice now for around 10 years. Property development, sadly. I've got a classic riches to rags tale, and
Now that's an example of what we were talking about earlier, about prepaving against yourself.
Yeah. Things were going great. I was doing developments in Australia, back in Western Australia, mostly in the mining industry, and
Now, they can't really hear you or understand you.
Can't
And it's
they?
for two reasons.
Why is
You're a
that?
little too close,
Okay.
and you're talking a little too fast.
okay, I do that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Just slow it down for them.
Okay. I'll take my glasses off, things will get blurry and it might help. I'm from Australia, I'm a developer. I'm doing a development here in Dallas. I've done a couple, one was very successful. I actually came to see you in 2012 at the Renaissance Hotel on the Saturday Road. When I saw you were back and I was actually coming into town, I decided I'd get a ticket and come again. We went on to put all our money into a second development here, and about 5 years ago, put in roads and whatever, it's about 12 acres up in McKinney. Put a bunch of money into it. We're doing our best the same way we used to do in Australia, and again, what we did here. And for the last probably 4 years, it's just been going backwards. Sales been slow. We've been doing everything we can, ploughing money into it. Things have been quiet in Australia as well.
Well, you're doing everything that you can that most humans think is everything that you can, but have you harnessed the power of the vortex? Because the segment intending that you're doing right now is in response to how it's going. So it's like getting out your notebook and writing, I feel things aren't going well. And it feels like things have not been going well for quite a long time. I'm feeling financially bound because we put a bunch of money into it that seems to be futile. And we're not making fun of you. We are acknowledging that these statements that we're reflecting back only reflect the way you feel, and you're a key component in this. And the way you feel is an indication of where you're at in terms of your cooperation with what's in the vortex. Now, we know that when the idea hatched about this, you had some big ideas, and they're good ones. And we know that cooperative components came around, but then you and others, mostly from the influence of others, but you began letting the current set of circumstances be the reason that your thoughts flow the way they do. So it's like you're following what is rather than leading what is. You know what's really important is that if your inner being did not believe in this project, then your negative thoughts would not feel negative. It's the opposing thoughts that are causing the negativity. So the worse you feel is the greater indicator that you're squandering the well-being that is there waiting for you. In other words, if you were on the wrong track and there was another development that is better for you, and that the path of least resistance was for you to just get out and move on to something else, then every thought that you have, like the ones that you just said to us, would feel invigorating to you. But the fact that none of that felt invigorating to you means that your inner being sees this project entirely differently. And the cooperative components have been lined up, but you're not letting them in because you're facing reality rather than creating it.
We love this project. We put everything into it. We totally love it. It's a beautiful project. It's quite different to anything here, but it's we've got a few people who absolutely love it and bought it.
It's a lot like, though, we really want you to hear this because this can be a big turning point for you. It's a lot like a parent who really loves his or her child, who sees the child as not going to make it. Such a good kid. I love him so much, but he's such a wackadoodle. He can't remember anything I tell him to do. He leaves his backpack at school every day. I don't know what he's going to do when he has to go off to school. I guess I'll have to go with him. This project is something that you want success from. You can't have it both ways. You can't love it and see it as failing at the same time. Those are not vibrationally accurate vibrations.
How do we bring it back, though? I mean, we're in trouble with the bank now. We've actually had to sell our home in Perth, renting. My wife's been stacking shelves at a grocery store. I've been doing odd jobs. We've basically run out of money.
The thing
And we're
with
trying to run a $30 million job.
you have done the best job that we've ever heard of a segment intending against yourself. And we know you're not making this up.
I'm meditating every day. I'm trying to.
You're telling it like it is, but what we're getting at is once something starts to turn in that way, and you follow the thoughts with it, and you let those thoughts dominate the way you feel, so you no longer believe in this, instead you believe in this, because the evidence is there, and you have to be a nutcase to believe in something you can't even see the truth. Well, the way you get back there is by finding some distance between the reality of it, and don't listen to other people. Listen to your inner being. Listen to what you've got going on. How many stories have you heard? And this is a very common one, where someone had a dream, it went pretty good, then it went south, then it was almost to the point of complete bankruptcy, and right before bankruptcy it turned around. And then they wondered, why did we put ourselves through so much suffering when it was going to turn around all the time? Jerry, who was a financial counselor long before he met us, asked us the questions once we began dialoguing. He said, I see people getting into financial problems, and first they lose their boat, and then they lose their second car that they don't need so much, and then they lose this, and once they've lost everything, then it turns around and they start coming back up. He said, why couldn't it start coming back up after the boat was gone? And we said, because until it's all gone, they don't let go of that fear that it's going to go. And as long as they've got the fear that it's going to go, then it keeps going. But once it's all gone, that fear goes away. Well, nothing else to lose. So you get to decide. You've got to find a way to feel about it the way you want to feel about it, not the way it looks like it's going. And that takes some focus. You know what it really takes? It takes getting off the subject, because you've practiced that subject so well, and it's understandable why you would, that that subject is unchangeable right now.
That's not unchangeable, I think.
Oh, the outcome isn't unchangeable, but the way you feel about it right now, that's the way we began today. A belief is a belief that you continue to think, and you've got that belief pretty well entrenched, and you keep talking back and forth about it, and so you keep that belief active. A belief is just a thought that you keep active. But here's the thing. Imagine a pile of sticks, and each stick is a different subject. There's this Dallas project, and there's, what else? Children.
I've got grown-up children. I've got grandchildren.
What other subjects might be in your pile? There's coming to an Abraham seminar. What other sticks might be in your pile?
Yeah, I meditate, I do yoga, my wife, one joy that's come out of this, even though
We don't want a long story here.
Okay, my wife and I are really strong. We're actually stronger than we ever were after going through this.
We don't want to hear that either, because we know all of that, but that's irrelevant right now, because that's not what's active in your vibration.
So what else is in my vibration?
So what other sticks might be in the pile?
There's grandkids,
Grandkids, what else?
music. I'm a musician.
So, now we've got some sticks in the pile. So now, each stick, on one of it is wanted, and on the other end of it is lack of what is wanted, and you have a different vibrational relationship with each of these sticks. And the stick called this project right now, every time you pick it up, even though you want to think about it in success, you don't. So don't pick that stick up for a while. Instead, pick up some stick that it's easy to feel in alignment about. And do you know what happens? When you pick up any stick, there could be 100 sticks, and most of them you don't feel that good about. But when you pick up the one or two that you do feel good about, by bringing it to mind, and you focus on it in the way that you naturally do, where your beliefs are, all the other sticks are affected by the resonance that you found with that one subject. If you can, for some time every day, we're not telling you to abandon your project. We're just telling you to get other subjects active in yourself, to give yourself some vibrational leverage, so to speak. Also, do you meditate?
I do, yeah, every morning.
Describe to us just a little bit what that process is for you.
At the moment it's really difficult because
Then we don't want to hear about
it's
it.
24/7.
So here's what we mean by meditation. So we mean 20 minutes. Esther often gets up especially early so that she can get that in no matter what. Her pickup for her flight yesterday was 4 a.m. So she got up really early so that she could get all the things in that she wanted to do before that early pickup. So sit for 20 minutes and focus on something. She likes the sound of the air conditioner because it doesn't evoke any thought. And so just allow your mind to quiet and allow your vibration to rise. And as your vibration rises, you become a vibrational match for the time of that raised vibration with the success of this project and all other things that you put into your vortex. You become, for that period of time, a cooperative component to everything else there. And in that 20 minutes of meditation, you might only accomplish that alignment in the last 2 or 3 minutes of it. But even then, that brief amount of time in complete concert with your inner being who is experiencing the awesome power of non-resistant thought. As you feel the relief of that, you've done more work than you could do if you spent 24/7 on this project. We're not kidding you. We want you to utilize the leverage of this. It's big time leverage. It's leverage that is indescribable in terms of your physical physics. Humans don't even understand the leverage of this. You all had a good laugh over Esther's yeehaw. But that was not a coincidence, and it was not an accident. It was source energy in on something fun, and cooperative components playing along with it. Do you see what we're getting at? Esther was the first cooperative component, and the man on the airplane was the second one, just for the thrill of giving Esther a little rush in the moment, just for her remembering that we're all in this together, and that there are cooperative components everywhere. You don't think that source energy is all over this project with you? You don't think that all of the thoughts that you put into it are active, and that there isn't a huge amount of non-physical consciousness working on that, aware of that, you see? But when you hold yourself in resistance to it, as you face reality that's changing every minute anyway, don't you want to reach for a different stick and give the universe a chance to show you what it's got going for you? Don't you want to just allow yourself, just for a little bit, just a little more every day, to be a little more cooperative component? And we're saying to you, you're more likely to be more of a cooperative component to this magnificent project when you're not thinking about it than when you are for a while. And that's what we meant earlier. Don't think about it and let the magic happen. Don't think about it and let the magic happen. And don't think about it and let the magic happen. And don't think about it and let the magic happen. And if you will meditate every day until those thoughts are wafting into your mind, you'll get a clear thought about something to do. And when you do, you'll know it. It will be so strong and clear. Follow that and then watch what happens. And before you know it, you'll have your hands back in the clay. And you won't need to avoid thinking about this project because you'll be on fire again with it like you were in the beginning. You'll be on fire with it, and then you'll be more specific and more specific and more specific with the thoughts as you run faster and faster and faster and faster with it. This cannot fail. It is already a vibrational reality. It cannot fail. Now, you can hold yourself apart from it for as long as you decide to. You can decide to play the game the way most humans play the game. Let's face the facts. Or you can play the game the way non-physical plays the game. Let's create a world. Let's create worlds. Let's flow energy. You can be or do or have whatever you're wanting. Your inner being knows that, you see. Ooh, it's going to be so much fun. Now, is your wife in the room with you?
No, I come along.
Buy these recordings. What's she going to say when she hears them?
When she found out I was coming to see you, she said, what? She was so angry at me. Because she wanted to be here.
Because the reason we ask is, and we usually don't, but the reason we ask is, if you two will talk to each other this way.
We do.
But this is a new way. You've been talking to each other in a way that's not helping you. You've been talking to each other about what is. We know you do some of it, but we're talking about the way you feel. Lip service doesn't count. It took us a little while to get you revved up here. Did you feel it? Did you feel yourself click over? Did you feel yourself become a cooperative component to your own project?
I absolutely did.
Yeah, we did too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Very new to this, 2 months, third workshop.
No, you're it off on somebody else. If you want it to be. And if it isn't easy, it's because you're not letting it be easy. If it's meant to be, make it easy. Think about it another way of saying that. Since whatever I want, I can have, how can I make this easy on myself? And the answer to that is always, believe it. But see how helpful the universe is to just keep coaxing you along in your belief? Isn't that a nice thing?
What's difficult for me in what you're saying is I come from a 12-step program that led me to believe that if it's not easy, let it go. Surrender it. And so if you're fighting against something,
But what is different in what we are saying to you? We're saying, let go of your resistance. And in the absence of resistance, there is ease. And then what you want does come easily.
I must have a belief that what I want, I can't necessarily have. I don't know.
But we think it's a good thing that you were saying, let it come easily. You're asking for ease. You want to give up struggle. But we want you to know that in the first segment of this day, we made a very strong case for the advantage of just giving up the struggle. There's just no reason for it. It's self-imposed every time, and it's you working against you. And once you get that, then things do get easier. One more thing. You've inspired us to say this. This is a really good thing. You're going to like this. So we talk a lot about the path of least resistance, and what we mean is your inner being knows where you stand in terms of manifestation and emotion, vibration, in relationship to everything you want, meaning everything that's in your vortex. Your inner being knows where you are in relationship to all of it, and your inner being knows the path of least resistance. So what that means is your inner being, in its complete, absolute love for you, takes into consideration every belief that you have that is in your way and still leads you around those beliefs to what you want. Don't you like knowing that? Your inner being isn't saying, clean it up and then we'll talk. Your inner being is saying, you are where you are, what you want is what you want, and with all of this in consideration, this is the path of least resistance. This is your path of least resistance, or most allowance, around your resistance, which is just fine. Feel that. So that means the more you can trust that your inner being knows where you want to be, and trust that your inner being knows where you are and isn't mad at you, and trust that your inner being knows where you are and isn't holding it against you, and so therefore isn't making it more difficult, that 100% of the time your inner being is making it as easy as you will let it be. But your inner being cannot believe